Hello, let's continue learning about ZBrush hard surface techniques. In this video, I'll show you how you can combine the Topology brush with the ZModeler brush to get some interesting and quick results here. So here's a helmet that I've sculpted. If you want to see how I've done this, there's a link to the video in the last 20 seconds of this video. But pretty much this is starting with this head right here and just using Dynamesh to get two variations here. Then a little bit of poly painting as well, just to get some quick color in here. I find that using color helps design the model. So you can work the whole thing with no color here. But once you get some color in there, it helps you to fill in additional shapes here. So it's a good idea to get a basic color scheme going. So basically, I have two variations. The main differences of the side of the helmet right here, as well as the visor. So in general, I like this design more. I like the way the sides look. But this design has a flatter visor right here, so I'll just start with this, and later on, for example, I can switch to this subtool and use the contrast right here. So basically, you can just press B and then select Topology. I've got that set to hotkey Control 3, so I can press 3 to activate standard, Control 3 for Topology. And pretty much, let's just work on this front part right here. And so what I'll do here is just press X, turn off symmetry here. We can just work with left half for now. So what I can do is just start a little bit to the right here. And just go all the way down. And then I can pretty much plan out the topology here. Sometimes if you have a particular detail that you want to create, it can be a good idea to plan things out. For example, if you want to have some sort of indentation going this way, I can start to have topology kind of going this way. Or I can just kind of match the curvature as best as I can here. Move a little bit here, and then simply continue. Here I'm just using my mouse, not the tablet. And so this piece has some depth to it. We have this front part and this kind of part going backwards. But first let's just create the front part right here. And now I can also kind of go right here and create this curvature here, adjust the camera view and continue. So now that I've got this right here, I'll just Alt and just make a line right here, a curve, and then we get rid of all the extra curves right here. And so now we've got this. Now we need to fill in a few of the blanks here. For example, here I'll just hold Alt, kind of delete this right here. And now I can create a curve going between this. And now we got this polygon right here. Let's get a little bit more density in here. And here I can also just create a few more curves here. There we go. Alright, we do have a triangle here, but that's fine. So now what I can do is fill in some of the areas right here. But first I might want to have a little bit more density here. There we go. So now what I will do is draw another curve in here. And then go here. We've got a polygon here. Hold Alt, curve right here to get rid of the extra. And now I can curve all the way around here. and then draw curves here to get polygons here. And you want to start on the center of the green circle right here. Here you notice we're not getting a polygon, so I will hold Alt and create a curve over here to get rid of this one, and then create carefully a curve right here. Now I got a polygon. Quadrangle. And so I'm not going to do the whole helmet here, let's just focus on this front part. And let's say I also want to continue to get this piece here. What I would do is create both these pieces together, and then we can separate them later on. Let's just get a better line here. And so you can just kind of do this multiple times so you get a good curve going here. Alright, so now that I've got this, I can simply click on this to create the mesh. I can increase the draw size to make it much thicker here. But what I will do is just set the draw size to be 1 and simply click here. And now I will use split on mask points. Now I have a separate subtool right here. And so the reason why I created both of these together is so that we have this kind of connectivity right here. We could have also gone in here and created this separately. So we could have first retopologized this light gray area and clicked on that. Then we could have also used the topology brush in this darker gray area. We would have had two separate subtools here, but they wouldn't be as connected as they are right now because they have shared topology. So now I've got the ZModeler. I've got that set to Control 4. So I'm going to do Control 3, Control 4 to quickly switch between these brushes here. So we can press B and then ZModeler right here. A quick way of selecting it is to press B, Z, and then M right here. You can see ZBrush has this nice quick system here. When you press B, it shows all your brushes. Since ZModeler starts with a Z, you can press Z, and you have a letter on the top left here. You can press that to get that appropriate brush right here, which in this case is M. So the way this brush works is that it's context sensitive. Depending on where your cursor is, you have either a polygon action, an edge action, or a vertex action. And notice how it changes here. So By default, if I hover over a polygon here and click and hold, we're now using QMesh, which is kind of like extrusion here. If I hover over an edge and click here, we're inserting loops. If I hover over a vertex here, we're moving it. And so to access the menu, you can either right click, in which case the menu will stay open even if you let go of the right mouse button. So right now I'm just moving my mouse. You can also hold spacebar, but this time the menu will disappear if you let go of the spacebar. So it's much more of a quick selection here, whereas right clicking gives you all the time that you need here. So basically, since I right clicked on a polygon right here, it's opening up ZModeler Polygon Actions. So on the top here we have actions. These are your operations. If you're used to other programs, 3ds Max for example, these are your operations. So now what I want to do is I want to actually separate this right here. So what I can do is, with QMesh on, I can hold Alt and I can select the polygons here. So as you hold Alt and click with the left mouse button, you can see how it's being added to this temporary white selection here. So this is a nice system that allows you to quickly, temporarily make these kind of polygroups you can apply your actions on. So notice after I made that, I can now simply click there and all of these will be extruded. I can hold Alt and continue to add to this white polygroup, this white temporary selection. I can pretty much select all of these right here. And so with this temporary selection, what I can also do is to change the polygroup really quickly. So we have a separate function right here, separate action, which is polygroup. We can also change polygroups using QMesh. So I will click and hold the left mouse button, and now I can press Alt, and notice how the polygroup color keeps changing. So now I can do split group split. This is now a separate subtool right here, and let's have it be visible. Let's have this also be visible. We can have all the rest of the meshes just not be visible right now. So now we've got our two subtools right here. Another function of QMesh is that it can actually give your object thickness. So right now you notice it's pretty much flat. If I go into display properties and turn off double, we actually won't see the other side because it's perfectly front face and back face, no thickness at all. So let's use QMesh to add some thickness. Now if I simply click and hold here, it's simply going to extrude right here. So the next thing we're going to talk about is targets. So actions is what you do, and targets is what you do the action on. Right now you can see the default is a single poly. And so if you want to quickly set all your objects to default, it's always on the top left right here. So for example, if you notice that you change a bunch of options here and you want to go back to default, you simply make everything to the top left right here. Or in this case just left, and there you go. Except for the actions right here, by default it's not add to curve, it's QMesh, but everything else here is usually top left, that's the default. So all of these right here, you can just kind of use this and get familiarized with it. A lot of it is common sense, or what you would expect. For example, all polygons is all polygons. They will all be affected by your action right here. So in this case, since I want to make everything thick here, I will just use all polygons. However, we have other options. Since it's all a single polygroup, we can also use polygroup all. So as with all 3D programs, there are always multiple ways to achieve the same outcome. It just depends on what's comfortable to you and what you get used to. So we can use polygroup all, polygroup island. Notice it gives the same option right here, the same result. So let's just use all polygons, and let's just click and hold here. Here I'm simply clicking on the left mouse button and moving the mouse right to give this thickness. And there we are. And now let's select the other subtool right here. And now I can just click right here, and what it's done right now is it's applied the same action to a different selection here, a different subtool. So one very convenient feature of ZModeler here is that it remembers the action with the same settings. So for example, if I hover over a point right here, a vertex, and split, and now I can click the left mouse button and hold, and I get this circle right here. I can now go to different vertex right here, click and hold, and now we get a differently sized circle. But let's say we want us all to be the same size. Well, Since this is the last circle I made, if I now simply click on these vertices, it's going to recreate the same size circle because it remembers the actual size that I manually created right here. So notice how this circle is now bigger. Well, if I click right here, it's going to remember that same size right here. So this is a very convenient feature of ZModeler, is remembering your last parameters. So since I gave this a certain thickness, and then I went over to the other subtool, it remembered that thickness, and now both these objects have the same thickness right here, as you can see from the side. Also keep in mind that ZModeler remembers the last action, the last parameters for all of these actions. So for example, if I, let's say, use QMesh, a single poly, and I simply click and hold, I get this right here, and I can simply click here to get that same result. If I now switch and use split for the vertices, I can now get this size right here. If I now go back to polygons and click here, it remembers that. If I go back to vertices, it remembers that. So it remembers your last parameters for all of the actions right here. Now, one very convenient thing about QMesh is that if you extrude right here, if you extrude right next to it, it will actually kind of combine together, fuse together. In some programs, if you extrude a polygon right here, it's actually going to be separate here, and it will not do this convenient fusion feature right here. But now, let's use mirror and weld, available by default under geometry, modify topology, and then mirror and weld. By default, goes from left to right. If you want to go from right to left, we can simply do is first go into deformations, first mirror this, and then you can use mirror and weld. For example, if the geometry is like this, I can mirror and then mirror and weld right here.
Thank you for watching and take care.